On Christmas Eve, 1945, a house burned to the ground in 10 minutes. 5 children were inside. But when firefighters searched the ashes the next morning, they found no bones, no bodies, nothing. This is the mystery that still haunts a small town in West Virginia. Fayetteville, West Virginia, a quiet coal town. George and Jenny Sodder had built a life here, a big family, a small grocery business, and a 2-story farmhouse on the edge of town. They had 10 children. On the night of December 24th, 1945, 4 of them would be reported dead. But the truth of what happened that night has never been settled. It started like any other Christmas Eve. The younger children were still awake, playing with new toys. Jenny went to bed around 10 p.m., leaving the older kids to finish up downstairs. Sometime after midnight, she woke to the sound of something hitting the roof. She thought little of it. Minutes later, she smelled smoke. By the time she reached the stairs, the living room was already engulfed. George tried to get to the children's bedrooms upstairs, but the stairway had collapsed. He ran outside for a ladder he always kept by the house. It was gone. He tried to start his 2 trucks parked in the driveway to use their headlights and get to a phone. Neither would start, even though both had worked perfectly the day before. A neighbor tried to call the fire department. The line was dead. By the time someone drove into town to alert the fire chief by hand, and the crew finally arrived, the house was a pile of ash. It had taken less than an hour from the first flame to total collapse. 5 of the Sodder children were unaccounted for: Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty, ages 5 to 14. The fire marshal ruled the deaths accidental, caused by faulty wiring. Case closed. Except it wasn't. Here's what didn't add up. A fire hot enough to fully cremate 5 human bodies, leaving 0 bone fragments, would need to burn for hours at extreme temperatures. This fire consumed a wood frame house in under 45 minutes. Investigators later admitted that even crematoriums need far more time and heat than a house fire to leave nothing behind. Then there was the ladder, missing the one night it was needed most. The phone line, mysteriously cut. The trucks, both dead at once. And strange lights had allegedly been seen near the house days before, along with a stranger who'd approached the property, asking odd questions about the family's insurance and daily routines. Jenny Sodder never accepted the official story. She began digging through the ashes herself, and in one section of what would have been the basement, where the intense heat should have concentrated, she found no melted remains at all. Instead, she found something odd: a hardened, glass-like lump of unknown origin, later suspected by some to be a firebomb residue, though it was never conclusively tested. Then came the sightings. A woman running a hotel over 50 miles away swore she'd served breakfast to the 5 missing Sodder children the very next morning. A photograph reportedly surfaced years later showing a young man who looked remarkably like Louis, mailed anonymously to the family with a chilling note. Locals whispered about organized crime. George had publicly criticized the Sicilian mafia's influence in the area and had received threats before the fire. The Sodders spent decades investigating on their own. They put up a billboard on Route 16 with the children's photos, begging for information, and offered a cash reward that grew over the years. It stood for over 40 years. No one ever collected. George Sodder died in 1969. Jenny kept the billboard up until she passed in 1989. Still waiting for an answer that never came. To this day, the file remains unsolved. No bodies, no confirmed explanation. Just a family that never stopped believing their children were taken, not lost. If a mystery like this deserves to be remembered, hit subscribe, because next week we're covering another case America forgot. Drop a comment. Do you think the Sodder children survived? Let's talk about it below.